More than 170 high-profile politicians and celebrities have been named in unsealed court documents as alleged associates of the billionaire paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Prince Andrew, Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, Stephen Hawking and Michael Jackson are among the many featured on the list, which emerged from evidence in a civil case settled between Epstein's accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell and one of his accusers, Virginia Giuffre.
Yeah, the individuals named on the documents are not necessarily accused of wrongdoing, but relate to people who worked for Epstein, flew on his planes or visited his many homes, as well as alleged victims and witnesses. The Duke of York has been named at least 67 times in the files, but denies all allegations of wrongdoing, as does Bill Clinton, who was mentioned in an under-oath interview with another alleged victim.
Joining us in the studio now, as I just mentioned, is chair of the Republican Overseas UK organisation, Greg Swenson. Thanks for coming along, Greg. I mean, the thing about this is... because I want to get your thoughts on... Sure. There's a difference in culture here, because this is an angle we haven't actually covered yet. This has been around, available to the authorities, available to the FBI since 2014. All of these people. The FBI have done nothing except investigate Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, the way I see it is this. Now, so in Britain, people go, well, what about all these powerful guys? What about Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Michael Jackson? Why didn't you do anything? Well, in America... people respect those who have achieved great wealth and position. They're not minded to knock people off their pedestals. So I think that's at the heart of this. Over here, we can't wait to do it. Right. There's a cultural difference here. This is what this is all about, isn't it? It's respecting people who've made a lot of money, no matter how.
Yeah, I think that there's some truth to that. There's definitely merit to that argument. You know, there's not maybe the tabloid culture in the U.S. press that you might have here traditionally. But I also think you have some of the major institutions, starting with law enforcement, like the FBI, other Justice Department vehicles, as well as the media, really protecting a certain class of people. What's happened in the last 10 years is that class has become progressives and Democrats, and at the expense of Republicans and conservatives. So look at the Hunter Biden laptop story. You know, that was... The FBI had the Hunter Biden laptop in 2019. So then when the New York Post exposed it in October of 2020, and then you saw these former law enforcement officials, 51 of them, claim that it was Russian disinformation, while the FBI had the laptop and had verified it and validated it. So they just buried it. They just sat on it. So they do have a habit, especially in the last few years, of protecting people on the left, especially if they're powerful people.
Yeah, right. And I mean, to be fair, if you look at, there's 950 pages of these documents that have just been released in New York. And I mean, I can't pretend to have read every word, but people who have say that pretty much Trump is exonerated. And guess who isn't really? That would be Clinton. So, you know, Trump, OK, he hasn't been charged with this, but nor has anyone else. But, you know, he's got 91 indictments against him, and yet Bill Clinton, scot-free. Yeah,
I mean, there's so many, you know, there's so many incidences or examples of this, you know, unequal distribution of justice. And you know, that's been clear with these indictments. It looks like President Trump is free and clear on this thing. I mean, OK, Epstein steered the jet, you know, to Atlantic City to go have some drinks at Trump's casino. Other than that, you know,
what was Epstein up to? Because this is something we haven't really spoken to. Well, no, I don't mean in terms of with the underage girls, but in terms of having these sort of long guest lists of the great and the good. I mean, is this essentially celeb washing his own seedy goings on and sort of guilty by, well, innocent by having so many numbers around him? Is it potentially compromising other people for commercial reasons? Why did he want to constantly get all these sort of big names in to his various properties?
He was a major donor to the Democratic Party. He was also a major philanthropist. So, you know, he went to Africa several times with Bill Clinton on his jet. Of course, Bill Clinton took some rides on the plane. That doesn't make him criminal. So I think what's important is to try to differentiate between the people who had business or philanthropic relationships with Epstein and those who were going to the Epstein Island to meet some nice young girls. So, you know, that's where Bill Clinton falls, I don't know, but there wasn't terribly damning evidence. I would agree that Trump got off free and clear.
Yeah, and we've got to stress that everybody on this list, it doesn't necessarily mean they did anything wrong at all. And I've been in the journalism game a long time, and I'll tell you one thing. People who are noisy about philanthropy, be very suspicious. Be very suspicious. Now,